Hey YouTube. Hey. Let me just get it good. I think it's good. Hey Facebook. Hey everyone. Got 2 channels going. And hey, you're writing success. All right, 3 screens. I'm in total overwhelm. Hey everyone. Welcome to my evening, your morning, your lunchtime, whatever time it is. Hey, hey, hey. Hello, hello, hello. So we'll just wait a minute or so just so people can join the call. I'm super excited to hang out with you guys tonight. I'm here to answer all your questions, and there's heaps of questions. I don't know if I'm going to get through them all, but super excited to just hang out and help you guys with your writing. So everyone on Your Writing Success, if you want to come join us, come join the Writing Superstar group, because that's where the action is. Can you help them, Phil?
Yeah, the link's on a post below this.
Oh, the post below this video is where you'll find that. Cool. I'll leave you to do that, Phil. All right, guys, how are we doing? Morning, morning. Hey, Christy. All right. So, all right, let me just get started on one of the questions over here while everyone joins in. Okay. I had to answer one of your people questions, Leslie, because I just found it really, really interesting. So when are you coming for a tour to North America? Heaps of people are saying, oh my God, you have to come see me, you have to come see me. So we are organising a clinic tour for, not September this year, definitely next year. So super excited to let you guys know more about that. You are so cute. You take such great photos. Have I ever had any training in how to take a good photo or a selfie? No, I have not, but what a cool idea. And you said, any inclination in my children to ride? Absolutely not. They are not riders. They don't want to ride. So that's cool. More time for mummy to do what she wants to do. So that was just cool to do some of those questions. Thanks for that. Let's answer a writing one. So Angela asks, I find it difficult to keep my heels low when giving aids, especially trot to canter and leg yield. Any tips? Yeah, so if you think about a trot to canter transition, and you specifically say in trot to canter and leg yield, which makes me think, again, hypothesizing because you're not in front of me, that you're finding it hard to keep your leg long when you need to use your leg. So you're asking the trot to canter and you're using a big leg aid to get canter. When you're asking for leg yield, you're putting that outside leg back again. So you're putting the outside leg back to ask for canter, you're putting the outside leg back to get leg yield. And that's, you're like, how do I apply my leg and keep my leg long? And it's a really, interesting question to think about, because people, especially depending on the kind of horse that you're riding, if you've got really short legs and a really fat, big barreled horse, your legs sit there and they're on, and it's quite easy. If you move it back, it's still on the horse. With a horse like Wessel, which I'm riding at the moment, my legs here and his legs, the back of him's here. So the first thing is you've got a whole calf, not just a heel. So your whole calf, whether or not just that part of your calf or the whole calf is on the horse, it's still going to have a reaction to the leg. And the second thing is, if you need your spur or your heel, sure, you might then slide it back. I'm trying to look at this. Yeah, so here's your leg position normal. Here's, you might need to slide it back. And depending on if the horse's belly is here, you're going to have to slide it back to here. If your horse's belly is here, you only have to slide it back to here. That went completely opposite, but I trust you get what I mean. So I feel that you're riding a horse that you're feeling, oh my God, I can't keep my legs on it. I'm going to have to move my leg really far back and off. But just remember, a leg can move like this. Like it just goes whoosh, whoosh, like if you've got a canter and back and leg yield and back. And remember, leg yield is not leg back and jammed on. It's a whole positioning with the shoulders and the leg and the body weight. And then the legs just, tap, tap, tap. So it's not on the whole time. So remember, if you're in trot and you're asking for leg yield, there's no point putting the leg on the horse for every stride of leg yield. When the horse's leg is on the ground, it can't move sideways. It's on the ground. So in the trot step, when it's on the ground, there's no point asking. And as the trot step comes up off the ground, that's when with your leg, you kick it over. So it lands that way, where you want it to go. So trust that helps. Trust that gives you a little bit of an insight. Jackie, hello from Vancouver. Riding a straight centre line is an issue for me. Any tips? And there was a question around how do we ride a very successful, from Jenny, how do we ride a very successful centre line that will impress the judges and give us a high mark? Exactly, that's what we want to do. Firstly, practice. How many centre lines have you done in your life? How many centre lines have you practiced? I find most people don't practice that. And I go, why? Why wouldn't you practice the centre line? It's heaps easier than everything else that you got to do in dressage. And I know it's not easy. You got to be straight, and then you got to do like a bang on halt transition, and then you got to move off straight into a really great trot, and but you stay round and keep the head still and keep everything looking awesome the whole time. But you can still practice that. Like when you get to medium and advanced and pre St. George, the same mark that you get for enter, halt, move off and turn left, it's the same mark that you might get for 9 two-time changes. So think about how hard it is to learn and execute and do for an 8, 9 or 10, 9 two-time flying changes as opposed to a centre line. So get into the craft and into the habit, and this is me as well. I keep saying to Phil, I need to drill it more. I need to enjoy the practice of perfection and enjoy the journey of I really want to get this better and better and better and better and better. So that's my advice. If I knew how to say, just do this thing with your hips and you'll get a 10, I'd love to tell you that. But there's no secret kind of thing around how to get a perfect centre line and a 10 from the judge, except for practice it and make it perfect. Cool. Hello. Miranda, I need some help with my arena riding. My horse has a habit of jumping out of the arena and not sure what to do. So is that an enclosed arena, like a dressage arena, and he just jumps out at that little opening near A? Because hands up, who's that happened to? Pretty much every human being I know that has ridden a dressage test has had that happen. And that's what, as riders, it's happened to me. I'm like, is that what outside reign's for? So remember, our reins are our fences. The horse can't fall to the inside if we've got the inside, and the horse can't fall to the outside if we've got the outside rein. Your reins are your two fences. You keep your horse between your two fences. And if your horse slips out of the fence and slips out of the arena when there's an opening, that's just because you didn't have the feeling and the understanding yet of how to keep a really good connection and how to control the horse's shoulders with your reins. So that's just a journey thing, and you'll get there. Just love where you're at and love your learnings and love how you will master that. Just trust me on that one. If he just jumps out all the time of the arena, it's still a training issue. So we need to figure out what is the hole in the training. Not, I wish he would stop jumping out, I want him to stop jumping out. What is the problem in the training that we don't have? Like, does he bolt? Like, do we not have a stop button, or do we not have a shoulder control, which is why he can always slip out? Or does he just jump out? And is he in the complete wrong profession, and when he should just become a show jumper? There's so many elements of more details I need to fully answer that, but hopefully I've helped with the shoulder control. Thanks, Phil. Everyone say hi to Phil. Phil's helping me out.
Hello.
We're in sunny Scotland at the moment. I call it sunny Scotland because we've actually had 2 sunny days. Yeah, it's been really cool. All right. Michaela, just wondering, how do I get on a horse without fear? Last year I fell off a horse during a horse show and I did get back on, but now my fear is even worse since I fell off. I'm 23 years old and I've been riding for 15 years and still afraid to get on a horse, but once I'm on the horse I'm fine and can then ride without fear. Awesome. You have to find a bit of fear in one thing, that's what makes me have fear. Well, firstly, congratulations for getting on the horse and riding without fear. That's awesome. So you're saying it's just the lead up to it. And normally the lead up to it is what we're doing in our own heads. It was really interesting. Phil and I'm going to say we were climbing a mountain. Can I say we were climbing a mountain? He's giving me this look going, it wasn't a mountain, it was a little hill.
Oh, it's got here.
Sounds so much better if I say climbing a mountain. Anyway, we're climbing this mountain. And it started off really steep downhill. And I'm like, it's all fun and games when you're going downhill, isn't it? It's when you got to go back up. But anyway, we're going downhill, then it's up, and then there was a choice of going down or up to this steep cliff. And we had the kids with us, and my kids are 3 and 5, and I'm like, we're gonna have to carry the 3-year-old back up. And I say we, Phil was gonna have to carry the 3-year-old back up. Anyway, I stayed at the bottom. Phil ran up the cliff. How'd you do it? He said he was like Bear Grylls. He's coming down.
I've narrated it, but
he narrated this whole video, jumping down the rocks, coming down, going, and I don't even know what he was doing. He's funny. Anyway, he was doing this. I'm getting to the epiphany of my mountain story. And then we start the fun bit back. So we're going down, because remember we went down then up. So we started off going down, and then we had this massive hill in front of us that we had to climb. And I remember we started going up and helping the kids up, and Tyler was like, no, I can do it. And he did the whole little thing like a soldier all the way up the hill. And I said to Phil, wow, I kind of half ruined this whole mountain experience because I spent the whole time going down the hill going, we're going to have to get back up. We're going to have to come back up. We're going to have to come back up. And then as we started the fun bit of the walk back to our car, which was the downhill bit, all I'm doing is staring at the big hill in front of me going, I'm going to have to climb up it. I'm going to have to go up it. I'm going to have to go up it. And dreading it and being worried about it. I'm wondering if it's going to be too hard. I'm wondering if we're going to have to carry the kids and all this stuff. Instead of just being present and dealing with the problem if the problem arose, and handling the problem as it wasn't like we weren't going to be able to get back up the mountain. We have legs, we have a level of fitness, we can get up the mountain. But it was really interesting, and I said to Phil, how many times do we do that in life, that we make this thing in our future so big and so scary and so terrifying that we ruin everything else that's happening around us because we're worried what's coming next. And I think that's what happens, wait for it, it's coming, this is what happens with fear. We ruin our drive to the stables because we're worried about what happens when we get on the horse. We ruin saddling the horse because we're worried about what the ride's going to do. We ruin getting on the horse because we're worried about the ride. And then we do the ride, and it may go well or it may not. But we've already had an awful 30 minutes, hour, 2 hours previous to our ride because we've been worrying about it. So I really want you to think about, in your case, going, okay, you'll deal with it when you deal with if something happens. And, you know, I'm so passionate when I talk about fear is this trust in self that you can handle it, that you can handle it, that you can handle it. And you've got to develop that trust and confidence in you. And the fact that you can get on a horse and be fine and love it and not have a problem and not be fearful at all, you're 99% of the way there, honey. So just stop playing the what if game on the way to the stables, or whenever that pattern starts, just nip it in the bud. No. I'm going to have a great ride. And even if I don't, I'll deal with that. Like, I don't always have great rides. Sometimes the rides are hideously awful and soul destroying and hard and ugh. But that's fine. It was just one of the rides of many, and then the next ride is better or isn't or whatever it is. But we spend so much of our existence and our life worrying about this thing that's going to happen in the future instead of just being present and just going, whatever's coming my way. Sure, you should think about it. Sure, you should be prepared about it, but it is what it is, and just one foot in front of the other. Like, when I was halfway through the mountain, I was like, oh, this is really steep. This is really hard. But there was no worry about it now because I was in it. And it was just, what do? All you do is you put one foot in front of the other, and you only think about the next step and the next step and the next step, and you just put your head down and you just keep walking, and then you look up and you're like, I'm nearly at the top. So that's my mountain story. Oh, that's all cool, Phil. Have we got some YouTube questions?
We do. Hang on 1 second. We'll just go. I thought this one could be a good
one. Someone said my accent's so cute. Thank you. We're at the shops today in Scotland, and he asked us if we had a co-op card, and I was like, no. I'm a tourist. And he's gone, really? I've gone, I know, shock. I thought I was blending right in with the locals. Sorry, what was the question? How do you slow a horse down when they are taking off? Help me. I hope you're not on the horse right now. Help me. What do I do? Okay, you're on a horse that's taking off that doesn't respect the stop aid. What do you have to do? I don't think your arm's in, babe.
Facebook, YouTube. Don't.
Sorry. Help me. My horse is going super fast. Okay. So he doesn't respect the stop aid. So you need to train the stop aid. So you need to apply the lightest of aids, the lightest of reins, the lightest of seats. So when the horse doesn't respond, you need to do a stronger half halt saying, hey, I told you to stop. There's a million different training resources and training methodologies and different ways that you can, like, they all have different ways of even saying it, you know, teaching a horse to park, or teaching the horse the ABCs, or teaching the stop, or whatever it is. So I'm not going to get into that. It's you just have a training issue, and if you're scared to get on a horse that doesn't stop and doesn't respect the stop button, I'm with you. You should be scared. That's scary. It's like saying, I'm scared to drive my car without brakes. Help me. Okay, get your brakes fixed. Okay, that's how I have, like, that's what you should do. Get your brakes fixed. So you need to get the brakes in your horse fixed. Trust that helps. CKNO. How do I send weight to my leg? Exactly how you say it. How do you wiggle your little toe? You just tell it to wiggle. How do you send weight down through your legs? You make sure you're not gripping with your knees, because when your knees come up, your upper body comes up. So make sure you've got everything sinking down and let gravity do its work, baby. Love that gravity. Okay. Megan, aloha from Maui. I don't even know where Maui is. Do you think it's Hawaii?
It's something.
We're showing our geography knowledge. Feels like, oh. I'm going to say, can you let us know, Megan, so you can teach me about geography? Is Maui in Hawaii? And aloha back. How to teach my mare to be more round and effectively use a half halt. I have a very forward mare, and when I applied leg to ask for more round and or bend, she just goes faster. When I half halt, she thinks I'm asking for more of a head tuck. Yeah. Every horse will evade connection. What is it?
It's Hawaii.
It's Hawaii, yeah. Every horse will evade connection because it's hard. Has anyone ever been at the gym and the personal trainer says, that's not a squat, actually squat and actually sink deep? That's kind of when you're asking the horse to be round. It's like, no, really use your muscles, really engage your stomach, really carry me. So the horse might run away from it, the horse might go slow, the horse might just try and tuck its head in and use half its muscles but not do it correctly. So you have a horse that's using an evasion when you apply leg, because leg should be taught to the horse, get into my contact and go into my connection and connect. So if she's running away, it's just training. Hey, slow down. I didn't. That doesn't mean that. Leg doesn't mean, if every time I say to you, hi, and I hit you, and I say hi, and I hit you, and I say hi, and I hit you, and then I say hi, you're going to go, because you think I'm going to hit you. So any partner and response is going to be trained. So if you ask the horse with your leg to connect, and the horse runs away, and you say slow down, and then you apply leg, and the horse runs away, and you say slow down, as a pattern, the horse will eventually go, there's no point running away because she always tells me not to. I'm going to give her a different answer. And hopefully the different answer is connect, and then you can praise her and tell her she's the best horse in the world and continue along that training path. Laura, to me it helped when you said 2 hands, 2 legs, half halts, at least a little. Good. Love it. Okay. How old were you when you first started doing dressage? Well, I would like to say I started doing it. I'm just laughing because when I thought I was doing dressage, I really wasn't. I think I was about 14 when I did my first kind of dressage competition at the local pony club. I thought it was fabulous. I thought I was going to win. I just thought it was awesome. Came out dead last. I didn't even make it to like the outside of the arena. I just kind of did my own kind of hexagonal in the middle because I didn't, like you talk about cutting corners. I was just so far away from my corners. It was hilarious. But yeah, I was 14. So it's not like I've been doing this since I was 3 or anything cool like that. Is there any other YouTube things that I'm missing?
We've got heaps on YouTube.
Heaps.
Yeah. Hi Magda in Austria.
Hey Magda!
It's good to see you.
Magda came to RSI and worked with us. She's from Austria. Vienna, yeah. So,
in Austria.
Yeah, I know that's Austria, but... okay, I have a horse who starts to rush when it comes to canter, so I haven't been able to canter her that much. Any advice? Yep. Any problems with canter when people say, so I don't canter? I go, how does that help? If I say I can't speak French, so I'm not going to speak French, how will I ever learn to speak French? So you got to go into the canter. If your horse is really unbalanced and it's hideous and it's fast and it's just super insane, canter, 2 steps, trot. Canter, 2 steps, trot. The amount of strength that the horse needs to carry you and to push off and to actually get into canter that's the strength building bit. So just get them into canter. The first stride of canter has to be slow and balanced because they'll fall over and then they go on the forehand and take off and go, so just trot and bring them back and then canter again and then trot and canter, and then you can do 2 steps canter, then you can do 3 steps canter, then you can do 4 steps canter. Same as if I can't speak French, I'm going to start with bonjour and then I'm going to go je m'appelle Natasha and I'm going to continue learning my little phrases until one day I can speak French. I did French for 9 years and they're the only 2 things I remember. Okay. All hills in Scotland count as mountains. Thank you, Cara. I too agree with you. Hello from the Netherlands. Hey Corinne, I have some problems with the Travers. In walk it goes well, but when I do Travers and trot, she seems to not understand it. I start the Travers from a 10-meter circle. Perfect, you're doing super well. She either doesn't understand it, but if she can do it in walk, she probably does. She's probably feeling blocked and actually feels like she can't physically do it. So one thing you can do is go back to walk, get the angle in the walk, and then ask for the trot. You'll probably find the horse just won't trot. Make her trot in that position. Or the other thing is, as you come out of the circle, you almost, to get the feeling and to teach the horse how to kind of move her legs in that way, you could come out of it leg yield. So do a 10-meter circle and then flex her to the, I'm assuming you're doing a 10-meter circle right. So then as you come out of the 10-meter circle right and you want Travers right, yes, you could just bend her to the left a little bit. So it's kind of like a leg yield against the wall, which will mean that the legs will kind of go how you want them to, and then you can fix up the shoulders and then get the angle of the Travers. With Travers and shouldery and with horses that are learning it, it's any shape that kind of resembles the end shape is what you want to go for first. Remember, they're not going to learn to speak French in a day. So you just want to go, oh yeah, that's kind of it. And the fact that you've got it in walk, think about what changes in the trot, what feels blocked, what side of the body doesn't move as well, what is the block, why can you put the body in that shape in the walk and not in the trot? Just start asking questions like that. Hello, is it Bretta? I'm wanting guidance, increasing sensitivity to the bit, to the leg. I am wanting to be able to transition down without so much bit, but also moving off my leg. Yeah, it's the same thing. It's you ask lightly. So with your seat, and all my horses have been trained off the seat. They go upward transitions off the seat and downward transitions off the seat. And if they don't, when they're learning that, you just need to do the stronger aid, but don't start off with the stronger aid. So if you want your horse to be super sensitive aid first, then a big reaction. Like my horses know if I apply leg like this and then they don't go, they're going to gallop. I'm going to be gallop. Like, even if we're walking and then I've applied the leg and nothing's happened, we're galloping. And then we're going to come back to walk, and then I'm going to ask the light leg aid again, and then maybe they'll trot or whatever, the thing that I wanted. But they know they have to react off the leg, and then same with the seat. If I've used the seat, nothing's happened, they're going to get a strong half halt saying, hey, listen, I just asked you something. Cool. Yes, it's in Hawaii. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Yep, do we have some more? Yeah.
Yeah, Steve, what's the best age to start dressage?
What is the best age to start dressage?
Today.
Today? Oh, I just think the best age to start dressage is when you want to. There's no answer. There is no answer. Sure, wouldn't we all have loved to start dressage when we were 3 years old? I struggle with that. I think if my parents had given me a pony when I was 3, when I first asked for one, and put me in riding lessons and said, you're going to go to the Olympics, you learn your sitting trot and you learn your shoulder in, I think I would have quit by the time I was 8. The fact that I won a horse and didn't get it for years meant that I'm still so grateful and still so blessed, and I just have such an open heart and such a happiness and a joy and a gratefulness to be able to ride, which I might not have had when I started younger. So I think the best time to start dressage is when you were meant to, whatever that is in your journey. Okay, Linda, when leg yielding and the hind starts to lag behind, you sat to stop the shoulder. How do you do that? I don't know if that's a typo. When leg yielding and the hind starts to lag behind, yeah, you there's no point asking for more leg, because your leg might be crossing over perfectly, but your shoulder is escaping. So what you need to do is slow down your shoulders. So stop the shoulder from escaping. And normally the shoulder is what falls on a horse. So you tell the horse, let's say you're trotting down the arena and you want to leg yield left. Yep, you want to leg yield left. So you apply your right leg and say, horse, move over to the left. And he falls to the left with his shoulders. You just need to stop that shoulder with your left rein so that the legs can catch up and the horse can be completely straight and cross over evenly. Trust that helps. And you can do that in rising or sitting. It really doesn't matter about that. Okay, I need to clip my horse for winter. I live in Brisbane and I don't have stables. Does this mean I should leave her unclipped? No, I used to clip my horses and not have stables, but I was a rug fanatic. So they used to wear lots and lots and lots of rugs, to the point where my horse was like, he was just waddling everywhere he went. So as long as you're going to see the horse every day and take the rugs off and put the rugs on and rug according to what the weather is, I don't see a problem with clipping a horse and putting it outside. I never clipped the legs, because obviously that was the only part of the horse, and I had like rugs made with like belly wraps and belly warmers, and they wore like hoods and everything, so there wasn't much the horse left exposed. But yeah, that'll work. Tanya, I want to do dressage. Is my age going to be a concern? Absolutely not, unless you're 143. Other than that, I think she's good. 50 years, you've got plenty of years. You're only just, you're a baby. You got plenty of time, Tanya. Susan, I'm 65, Tanya, totally cool. Yes, and is Sue here? Sue, if Sue's on, please Sue, share your age. She's awesome. I coach her at the moment and I'm just blown away by Sue. She's in her 70s.
What can I do to soften my hands?
What can I do to soften my hands to increase salivation? Okay. So salivation doesn't have anything to do with how soft your hands are. I know I've had sometimes hilarious comments on Arba's videos going, what's wrong with that horse? And I understand it. If I saw a dog, a harness dog with heaps of white foam coming out of his mouth, I'd be like, oh, does that dog have rabies? Which just shows you my lack of understanding about things, about dogs. Foaming at the mouth, I didn't think was that good for dogs. Foaming at the mouth in horses is, and people say, is it good? Is it not good? It just is. So Arbor, you put the bit in his mouth, and he is pouring white foam. And it doesn't matter if he's just been at the dentist or he's due for the dentist. It doesn't matter if when he was 5 years old or when he was 15 years old. It didn't matter when he was a young horse that knew nothing or when he was a Grand Prix horse. If you put a bit in his mouth, he would start foaming. I've got other horses that we're sugar lumping them up before the comp, and we're doing everything we can to increase salivation and to increase, we want a bit of foam and we want a bit of that. So there's no right or wrong. If you feel that your hands are hard and that you I used to, when I was learning to ride, I'd be like, oh my god, I just constantly do this because my shoulders and my neck would be it would just be a block, and that was because I was trying so hard to sit in the saddle and to keep my hands still. I was just tightening and blocking everything. So if you feel that you're tight, you know, the whole point of being a dressage rider is to be able to move with the horse and move with everything. So you want to be really, really soft, but not floppy. And isn't that just awful, Phil? That's so hard. What do you mean? How do you be soft without floppy? How do you be floppy but not, like, it's hard? But my best way of explaining it is you're holding a cup. If I hold this cup too tight, it's going to smash. If I hold it too loose, it's going to drop and smash. The level of muscle tension I need to just hold the cup comfortably, I could hold it for 2 hours if I needed to, is the same as the muscle tension that you use when you're riding a horse. It's enough to keep everything where it needs to be, but not too tight that you block and you go against the horse and it's too hard and too tight and you can't hold it. Cool.
We had a few questions here.
Do you have any advice, tips, exercises for those of us who nervously ride too far forward? Yes. If you're nervous that you're going to fall off, so you lean forward, you're going to fall off. You're not going to fall off. But that's a very scary place to be. If you haven't plugged your seat bones in, so if I've got a horse that's a bit fresh, I'm like, whoo! And I'm leaning back and I'm plugging those seat bones in and I'm bracing my belly down so that I can suck into the saddle as much as possible. And I'm really almost leaning back going, if you buck or if you shy, you're going to throw me here. But if I'm here and you buck or shy, I'm going to fall off the shoulder end. So I know you want to get into the fetal position when you're scared. I know you want to crouch down and make yourself really small. But the best way to make sure that you stay on a horse is to elongate, lengthen yourself, sit back, brace, use your stomach and your back muscles and be like, whoa, and suck in there and say, I always like, and that position for me is bring it. Come on. Like if I feel a horse is doing something, I'm like, all right, let's go. Give me what you've got. But if I'm here, I'm a victim. I'm like, please don't hurt me. So my answer is find your confidence point, your confidence anchor where you can be like, I've got this. Trust that happens. My horse tends to drop her shoulders when I ask for turns. Did we do this?
Yeah.
Did I start talking about it? I didn't answer it. Do you have any tips to help her? Yep. So the horse goes, oh, I've got to turn and wants to fall. So the best thing is think about leg yielding through every turn. So pick up that shoulder. So if she's dropping on the left shoulder, you're going to use your left leg and your left rein to pick her up and push her body up against the wall and up into the corner. Think about pushing the body up because she wants to fall down. And that's not good for anyone. Tanya, thank you. What about a draft horse? Would he be okay? Yeah, sure. He's got 4 legs. It'd be perfect. Casey, hey Tash, I have a problem with my horse at comps. He can get very hot and won't listen to me. I've been told I'd let him take charge. Yeah, so if you've got the horse that's super hot and super looking at everything, you want to be giving him lots of things to do. Heaps of transitions, heaps of changing of direction, heaps of, you want to go fast, I'm going to make you go slow. You want to go slow, I'm going to make you go fast. You want to fall left, I'm going to make you leg yield right. You want to fly right, I'm going to make you go left. You want to go shoulder in, I'm going to make you go renvers. Just constantly, as you said, if he's taking charge, you got to take charge. You got to be the leader. You got to take control. What else have we got? Tash, thank you for being who you are and your team. Thanks from the United States. Thanks for thanking my team. I have a super team and I adore them to bits. So thank you. My pleasure. Nice to hang out. My horse, comment disappeared.
Oh.
My horse won't stand still when I mount him. What do I do? This is again a training thing. So he's learnt. Don't you love this? If I was a horse, I would do this. You're not getting on me today. What are you going to do about it? And that's literally what they do. They go, if I step away every time you try and get on, what are you going to do about it? And if that means they don't get ridden that day, they're like, beautiful, this works. I'm doing that tomorrow. So I get on the horse on the wall, or a corner, so the horse can't go forwards. I have someone hold him, and I train the horse that you stand and you wait for me to get on. I've got a super young horse at the moment who's super, and you seriously get on him and you just go, are we all about to die? And I have someone hold him and I'm like patting him on the bum and leaning over and patting him where my leg's gonna go, and he's just standing there all tight and tense, and I'm like, oh, it's gonna be okay, good boy. And then I swing my leg over and then I say, don't leave me yet, just stay here. And I pat him and I'm putting my feet in the stirrups and I make sure I've got everything I need, and then I'm like, okay, you can let me go. And then we walk on and everything's fine. He's fine, but he gets really tense and tight about it. And if I try and get on him just in the open arena, he just keeps spinning around. So I just control the situation and put him in a position where I can control his body and make sure that it stays still so I can do what I need to do. Stacey, my horse yawns hugely after good intense rides. I've read multiple different opinions on this is a good thing or if it means something's wrong. What's your opinion? I don't have an opinion because I've never had a horse yawning a lot. So you get to make it mean whatever you want it to make it mean. So I would make it mean, if everything's going well, the training journey's going well, horse is good, then I would make it mean that my horse just totally loves me, totally loves our rides, and it totally means that we're going to win the Olympics. That's what his yawns mean, because why not? Okay, any other questions?
Just give me 2 seconds. So it's just, what's the difference between a medium trot and a working trot?
Difference between a medium trot and a working trot. So a working trot is the first, pretty much get a horse out of the paddock, get a young horse. Working trot is the trot that it comes out of. Medium trot is obviously, once you start riding a horse, you then develop a collected trot, which is super, super hard to do, true collection and true collected trot. And then you've got a medium trot. So you start off with a young horse, you have working trot and lengthened trot, which is asking the horse to take a longer stride, and then you turn that lengthened stride into a medium trot and eventually an extended trot. But all you really need to know is working trot, normal trot, lengthened trot or medium trot, big trot, and not faster trot, because it's not actually faster. If anything, it's slower, but bigger trot. So I can walk like this, taking, let's say, 40 centimeters between each walk stride, or I can walk taking 80 centimeters within each walk stride, and I have to take a bigger stride. That's the same as the horse. So they're taking a normal trot stride and then they take a bigger trot stride, which turns into a medium trot, or an extended trot stride when they really extend and really take the biggest stride possible that they can.
This one here.
Any suggestions on what I can do to get used to the suspension in the canter? Thank you so much for asking that question, because that's exactly right. And when you've got a horse with a big canter stride, that suspension can feel forever. I remember there was one Frisian I rode, I was just like, will I ever land? It really felt like we just leapt into the air and then 3 seconds later we came back down to earth. So anything you can do, I don't think so. You just get used to it. You make sure that you plugged your seat bones in, that you're not leaning forward, that you're like, and you're in there, and just enjoy it, baby. It's fun.
2 seconds.
Susan, thank you from Toronto. I'm on month 8 of Fearless Success. It's helped me over a big hump. Good on you. Couldn't have done it without the course. I highly recommend it to anyone who has some fear issues that pop up from time to time. Thank you, Susan. Congratulations for taking the learnings and nailing it and using it to totally enjoy your riding again. Good job. Super excited. Brett, are spurs something that you wear always on all horses, just as they are part of your tack, or are they more intermittent training aids? So the rules keep changing, but the rules currently are if you ride your horse with a double bridle, you must wear spurs. And if you want to compete FEI Grand Prix, you have to have the horse in a double bridle. So remember, so I ride every horse I ride with spurs. The only time I wouldn't ride a horse with spurs is a young breaker, because it's not used to them yet. But remember, as long as your riding leg is off the horse, whether or not you have spurs is completely irrelevant, because when you can control your leg, you get to choose when you apply your spurs. So spurs are much more precise. As I was talking about, your calf is very long and very flat. So if I move my leg this much, it's not going to feel that much difference because of the surface area of my entire leg. But if I put the spur here or put the spur here, the horse can feel that. So they just it helps you be a lot more precise with where you're asking the horse to go. Because if I asked you, well, what's the difference between a trot to canter transition? So I'm trotting and I'm asking the horse to canter, or I'm trotting and I ask the horse to travers, or I'm trotting and I ask the horse to leg yield, or I'm trotting and I ask the horse to half pass. And they all have pretty much the same leg position, but sometimes the leg position is slightly different, that you can that's your language that you can develop with the horse. And then obviously the horse knows it's different because of how you are with your seat and your shoulders as well. So yeah, that's why we use the spur. And the spur's also there. I used a very light calf aid. You didn't respond, so that's just a sharper aid to say, hey, you got to go, and then the legs are completely off. And a lot of people go, oh, you're so cruel. Spurs are just disgustingly cruel. They're not. They're a training aid. And what is more disgustingly cruel is a rider with a very lazy horse kicking the horse every stride, and the horse going, oh, I'm just going to completely tune out and completely ignore her leg aid because it keeps banging on me, I don't know what she's talking about, and I'm just going to ignore it. So yeah, you just want to make sure that you can be very precise and very clear in your training. Okay. Do you have one?
Yeah.
Libby. My boy is pretty happy with trotting, cantering and tests, but then relaxing for the walk is basically impossible. Any leg and he trots. Suggestions for getting him to chill but still engage his back end. Practice, 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 practice. Get your horse, I love to teach a horse a step of piaffe and then get him to walk. Step of piaffe, get him to walk. So it doesn't matter how much pressure I put on him and how much excitement, or gallop and walk, gallop and walk. Doesn't matter how forward thinking the horse is and how hot I get him. He has to know when I do this with my reins, it means it's your time. So every horse, every human, every animal can learn an anchor, can learn a thing that this means chill. Most people, if they see a couch and sit on it, they're going to feel a lot more relaxed than if they've got to stand in front of a lecture theatre. It's just, conditioning. So you want it to be that the horse goes, oh, beautiful. What the horse is, the horse doesn't know. When you give it its reins, it goes, cool, I get to do what I want. I get to think, I might want to gallop again. And you go, no, when I give my reins, it means relax time. When I give my reins, it means relax time. And if the horse wants to go, you just pick up the reins and make it go. And then you say, you keep it going until it goes, can I please relax? And you go, yes, this is the aid for relaxation. And then you slide into it. My horse gets easily distracted whilst riding. I've tried mixing the work up, changing direction, but he seems to get tunnel vision. He's 18 one hand, so when he acts up, it usually doesn't end well. Any advice? Oh, it sounds like he's young. I would assume he's young as well. Don't know what that is. just that's horses. So sometimes horses don't like the idea of becoming dressage horses. Sometimes you just got to wait a year or two for them to chill and get into it. And again, there's a million different other trainers out there that can deal with submission and getting the horse to listen and getting the horse to do that. So I wouldn't say that's my big area of expertise. So I would say go and find someone that has proven that they can help with something like that. With me, if that happened, yeah, I've got a super tense, crazy horse at the moment. He's young. I'm just like, yeah, well, it'll be fine. Give us a year. Sean, hey Tash, my pony panics when I ask for Canter and I can't keep her going. What can I do to ask her to keep going without making her go faster and panic more? So she panics, but she doesn't canter. You got to canter, baby. Just canter and circle. I released a video recently of the young horse where I was just cantering and then circle and then canter and then circle and canter and then circle. I would do that. And if she's too unbalanced to even circle, then do it on a 20-meter circle. But it's again, if she's panicking about something, she just needs to do it more. She just needs to get used to it. Kelly, tips to stop legs sliding back when giving leg yields. I've dropped my stirrups per other recommendations on my photo, but I still see my legs sliding back when I take videos. She is still learning bend, but I have to use a lot of legs, so I end up turning my heels to add pressure. I don't use spurs because I don't have a problem. Good for you. Yeah, remember, you can't get more leg yield by just applying more leg. It doesn't work like that. If the horse isn't reacting to your light leg yield aid, he needs to be trained to react to your light leg yield aid. So I would do leg yield on the ground. So that's with the whip, saying side, move, 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 and then he would know what the leg yield is, and then I would apply my light leg on the horse, and if he doesn't respond because you're not wearing spurs, because you don't have full control of your legs, that's perfect. Just use the whip. So hey, I applied my light leg, tap with the whip, hey, you gotta move over. Don't ever compromise the way you're riding to get a result. There's no point going, look, I can get Travers, and you're doing this weird thing with your body going, look, I got Travers. I'm like, that's not Travers. Travers is when you sit and do nothing and the horse moves its hind legs in and stays in true bend and stays down, keeping on going down alongside with its body in that position. This is not Travers. So if you're ever, and believe me, I've done it for years, contortioned myself and used so much leg and so much hand. I mean, God, look at the embarrassing Grand Prix videos of me with Arbor. Like, no one brings Friesians to Grand Prix for that reason. They're not meant to be able to do it. So I had to help him way more than I ever should have. And so, yes, you don't want to do that. You want to be going, hey, I asked you to move sideways, rather than going, oh, look at my leg yield. And you're using all this leg, because I go, well, what's going to happen when you get to Grand Prix and you need to use all that leg to go sideways and to stay in canter and to get the true bend the other way and do a flying change back the other way? Like, you'll have no leg left. So you've really, most rider problems around this kind of stuff comes from not a very good reaction to the leg. So that needs to be trained, and every horse is the same. So you need to train that reaction in, which is why when we're all at Grand Prix and we're doing it right, we look like we're doing nothing, because the horse has been trained to move off these really, really, really light aids. Tanya, do I need boots for him and bell boots to start? I know it's important to be safe to wrap his legs. Every people are different. I sometimes like to ride with no boots, just because that can heat up the legs. Right now we're riding in jumping boots, so there's not as much heat around the tendons, but we're still protecting them if he did hit with one of his legs the other way. And bell boots are, again, if they overreach. If he doesn't overreach, then you don't have a problem. Corinne, how are Gretchen and Lordy? I missed them in the videos. Gretchen seems, in terms of character, very much on my horse. They are good. Gretchen is currently in Holland, and I am going to compete her very, very soon in small tour. So you will see her again. I miss her too. I desperately miss her. And Lordy is going super, super, super. He is actually in Holland as well now, and he's learning some cool new Grand Prix stuff stuff, and yeah, I'll be getting back into him probably March next year. So that's what's going on with them. Thank you for taking the time to answer in such detail. My pleasure. It's fun hanging out. We're getting to the end. I don't know if I'm going to get to all the questions. How to get a lazy horse forward without nagging. It's that same thing. I asked you to move forward, now move forward. And Armageddon has come. Like, you've got to have the horse galloping. Yeah. Like, so how do you get, like, how would you react if you saw a tiger? Go! And that's kind of how you have to be with the horse. I asked for go, you didn't go. Go! There's a tiger! And I sometimes scream at my students, tiger! You need to be, so the horse is like, go! They've got to be forward thinking. They've got to be thinking, I got to go, in order to be a dressage horse. I know it seems counterintuitive because we don't go faster than a extended or a medium canter. I went riding with Phil in France around this castle, which was beautiful. There's photos on Facebook. But I stupidly said, oh yeah, no, I can ride. So I got this stallion that, I don't know, hadn't been ridden for a really long time. He was just super, let's go. And anyway, the guy's going, do you want a canter? And my husband's like, yeah. And I always put my husband in front so I can like keep checking on him. And he's cantered off, and I'm like, oh God, is he okay? He's kind of moving to the side a little bit. And then my horse was like, we gotta go. And I'm like, yeah, okay. And so I said, yeah, okay, you can canter, and gave him the aid to canter. And this horse took off. Like, I felt he was bronking. He wasn't. He was just, he bucked. He was a bucker. And I was like, whoa. And then I was like, let's not buck. Let's keep your head up, and let's just canter. And he was like, and I was like, I'm sure we're cantering. I don't think we're galloping, but gosh, this is fast considering, like, I spend most of my time in collected canter, which is pretty much walk speed. Someone could walk next to me and I'm just really nicely collecting, and every now and then I go, okay, off you go into extended canter and come back. I'm in very much control, and this Stallion feels just laughing at me because then I was like, oh, you know, did you think it was fast? He's like, it was just fun. I'm like, okay, fun was an interesting word for it, but yes, I don't know how we got to that, but yes, meaning that horses should be forward, dressage horses should be forward thinking, even though we don't actually go that fast. Okay, I'm a shorty and struggle to get my mare to listen to my legs. Her last owner had long legs. She was a brood mare till she was 16 and is smart and green. What is the best way for me to work around my short legs? You're all fine. Then comes the question, are you wearing spurs? Was the last owner wearing spurs? But if anything, short legs, depending on how short they are, like if all your leg is on the saddle, then obviously the leather absorbs a lot of that pressure rather than just your leg in contact with the horse's fur. But as long as your leg can make contact with the horse's fur, then you can communicate with your horse. Sean, brilliant. Thanks from the UK. Love your videos. My pleasure, Sean. Okay, Kelly, she'll leg yield at the walk. My leg problem happens in the trot. I haven't even thought about canter since she's so unbalanced in it yet. Yeah, so they're okay in walk because it's easy in walk, and then when it gets into trot, that's faster. So it's harder for you as the rider to balance the horse, and harder for the horse, and then they just drop the shoulder and lean. So control the shoulder. And the other thing you can do is go leg yield 2 steps, ride straight 2 steps, then leg yield 3 steps, then ride straight 3 steps, then leg yield 4 steps and ride straight. So you don't just go, oh, I'm going to go for leg yield. You're really controlling if the horse moves sideways or straight, and how often they move sideways and how often they move straight, which is a good exercise for you and the horse. Tanya, let me know when you come to the States and compete. I would love to meet you. I will do so. Have you ever had a horse run away with you on him? Yeah, plenty of times. Plenty of times. Fallen off plenty of times. Oliver, I saw your video of riding a stallion with a mare. I saw you whip that poor stallion harshly in the video once. Do you think that's justified? Thank you, Oliver, for that lovely question. I think a stallion and a mare and every horse needs to make sure that it knows that there's a rider on its back. If I'm riding a stallion and the stallion goes to mount a mare, we are going to be in a lot of trouble. So it's the deal kind of thing when you ride a stallion, that the stallion has to learn when I'm being ridden. I don't get to listen to my impulses. So I've ridden a stallion with mares in the warm-up that are in season that are literally squirting in his face, and he has to not go, I want to go have sex right now. He has to accept that I'm riding him. Then when we go and breed the horse in the breeding stallion, in the breeding shed, we let the horse be a stallion. You know, he's allowed to even rear as long as he does it still in relation to not trying to kill us. He's allowed to scream. He's allowed to do everything that he wants to do as a stallion, because that's his time to be a stallion, and that's breeding. So yeah, that's an answer to that question. Thanks so much. Starting Wespers last ride. Glad to see I'm on the right track. They just reached the bottom of the saddle. I'll see you on Wednesday for my boot camp. Cool. Any questions on YouTube that I've missed? How old am I? 37?
37, yeah.
37!
That was the person. Oh, we had
Do you have flexible thumb or hitchhiker's thumb? What is that? I don't know what that is. I have normal thumbs.
We had a lady from Scotland just around the corner who had the length of your stirrups.
How do you know what length to put your stirrups at? Hello from Scotland. Hello. The length of your stirrups should be as long as your leg can be without being uncomfortable, without going, I'm reaching for my stirrups. I put my stirrups up when I'm on younger horses, and they go down on the older, more experienced horses. Yes, your stirrup length, if you ride with no stirrups and then you put your stirrups back and you go, I feel like my leg's too short now, then you can put it down.
Struggle with motivation.
Do you ever have days where you struggle with motivation? How do you overcome this? I was laughing. Sure I do. Yeah. How do I overcome this? Having a competition helps. Having really clear goals of if I don't get out of bed and do this, I'm not going to achieve. I'm not going to get what I want. I'm not going to have things where I need them to be. Also with the horse, they're athletes. If I don't ride them when I'm meant to ride them, then it's really unfair to then ask their muscles to work if they've had 5 days off. They have a training plan just as I have a training plan. If I don't execute that training plan, not only does that mean I don't achieve my goals, it actually means that physically the horse won't be where the horse needs to be physically. So a lot of the time I'm not motivated to ride. I just have to. It's the same as, and it's not I have to, my life is awful, I have to. It's just, I just don't think about it. It's like, oh, okay, off I go. And then the minute I'm 5 minutes in on the horse, I'm ecstatically happy. I love working with the horses. So, yeah.
No, we're almost.
We are almost at time. Okay, because it is getting dark. What time does it get dark here in Scotland? It's insane.
11:30.
Okay, so that's it from me. Thank you so much for hanging out for the hour with me. I've really enjoyed it, and I will be making sure to do this more often. For those of you that don't know, so June is Dollar June. We're actually doing a trial of the Dressage Mastery Program for 7 days. You can try that for $1. And we're also doing a $1 trial for 7 days for the Fearless Mastery Program. So you heard the Fearless Mastery Program is awesome for anyone that needs to overcome fear. You heard from that gorgeous, I can't remember your name, you're a superstar. You're an absolute superstar. Yes, but you heard how amazing she's doing with her fear overcoming her fear, and that's just what the course does over and over and over and over again. So you can try the part 1 for $1, and if it's right for you, keep hanging out. If it's not, just email the team, say it's not for me, and that's absolutely fine. But it's never been a better time to try out either Dressage Mastery or Fearless Mastery, because we're doing this dollar trial. Normally it's $79. So go grab yourself a bargain and enjoy. Been my pleasure hanging out. Thank you to you guys. Really enjoyed being with you guys and helping with your questions. Let me or the team know if there's anything else we can do for you to help you on your writing journey. And like I said, I'll make sure to come out to these things and hang out with you more often. So have a super day, and I'll see you in Dressage Mastery and Fearless Mastery if you join us. Okay, see you guys soon. Bye. Alright, this is the fun bit, figuring out how to end the video.